Welcome to the episode, everyone. Nice having you here. This one starts in Paris, of course. We are going to Disneyland Parks. Originally, this was supposed to be a Disneyland Park plus Walt Disney Studio in the same video, but it would have been like 40 minutes or so. I decided to split it up, so this is part 1 with the Disneyland Park. Leaving Paris with the train, we took a train in the morning at around 10. We got to the Disneyland Park in about 40 minutes. The train was €5. Make sure you get your tickets from the machines. There are some people, actually train staff in the stations, that will try to sell you a day pass, which is €25. Don't get that. It's €5 to go there, €5 to get back, and you can get your tickets from any stations, including the one near Disneyland Paris. The train leaves you right at the entrance. As you can see, there was quite a bit of a crowd there in the morning, but that's to be expected. The security process moves along quite fast, so you're going to be in the parks really quickly. I think I stood in line for about 10 minutes. Not really that bad, considering the amount of people that were there. Soon enough, we were inside the main courtyard that gets you to either Disneyland Park or the Walt Disney Studios. You take a right here and you go for the pink building that says Disneyland Park. Again, this process, although the crowds were quite substantial at the early hours of the morning, it went on pretty fast. I was surprised that they were able to get us in so quickly. The decorations around the entrance are absolutely spectacular. As you can see here, people are working on the, this is the hotel. I don't know exactly the name of it, but it's one of the best hotels on the parks. Very luxurious, very expensive, of course. So people are doing renovations every single day. They try to make it look as magical as possible, and that's to be expected considering this is a Disney property. So here is where you will get your ticket scanned, and then you are actually in the parks. Actually the park, the Disneyland Park. This is the main entrance. You can see there the number 30 because Disney is celebrating 30 years of Disneyland Park Paris. Here is the entrance to the main street. That's the main area of the park with many shops, many restaurants, gift shops, whatever you want, it's there. Yeah, if you're going to Disneyland, be aware, you've been advised, there are going to be a lot of children. Are going to scream, of course. If you're surrounded by your heroes, of course you're going to scream. You want every toy. I, as a 30-year-old, wanted every toy, but it was very expensive. Here we have Winnie the Pooh getting to meet one of his fans. The fan was a little bit too old for him, I guess. But he got to say hello to him, and then Winnie got to meet his more appropriate, let's say, audience. Children, of course. Now, as I've mentioned, the main street area is basically a lot of restaurants, cafes, and shops. You will get here and you will see that there are many shops, most of them souvenir shops, because by the volume of people that get to Disneyland every day, you need these shops to be as many as possible so that nobody feels, stranded or too crowded in one place. So they have many more than you can even go through with many toys and everything that you would need or want from Disney, especially for kids. As you can see, plush toys, they got sweets, they've got everything a kid can dream of. Now, I'm not sure exactly about the schedule, but there is a parade at noon every day celebrating 30 years of Disneyland Park Paris. Here's the people going to the parade. You get to meet your favorite heroes. You've got Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, you got Goofy, you've got Aladdin characters. I said that Aladdin characters because I am a huge fan of the Aladdin story. It's my favorite Disney story. Here are some prices. I don't know why I filmed this, but probably in my mind I was like, I should show people what to expect financially, because Disney parks aren't the cheapest destinations. Even if you pay like $100 for your ticket, you're still going to pay a lot for merchandise, food, and so on, and it's totally expected. Like, they need to make it work. They need to have the parks, working, because everything you're going to see in the park, up to the very smallest detail, is immaculate. These macaroons look like very, very good. I'm a little bit mad with myself that I didn't got one, but I wasn't hungry, so I just browsed and explored and listened to this beautiful music that is now stuck in my head, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get it out. It's called Ready for the Ride, I guess, the song that the characters were singing and dancing to while the parade was happening. Amazing, amazing song. Even if you're like sad, that song is going to get you up. Let's listen into the music for a few moments. Yes, expect crowds. You're at Disneyland, so expect crowds. If you're not a crowd person, you should reevaluate your destination, so to speak. But again, although crowded, the park itself never felt like suffocating, if you know what I mean. Especially because there were a lot of shops, there were a lot of areas where you could chill, more secluded areas, more central areas like the main street, and there was always something to do that would keep your mind busy, even if you're not a crowds person. So we are now moving towards the center of the Disneyland Park, and as you can see here, we have the Disney Castle, or Cinderella's Castle. This is one of those buildings that basically everybody in the world knows about it. Not many people actually know how it looks on the inside. This is one of the questions that I've had before coming here to Disneyland. This is Jafar. swirling around in there with his magical powers, evil magical powers. This is the castle from the back, very beautiful, of course. And of course I went inside to take some pictures, and this is how it actually looks inside. I've always wondered about it. How is this Cinderella's castle looking on the inside? And this is how it looks. You also have a permanent Christmas shop inside the castle. That's magical. Come on, I mean, that is, you can go there and do your Christmas shopping year round. Many decorations, many plush toys, many Christmas tree accessories, anything you want you can find there that's Christmas related. And of course you get a beautiful view of the entire park from the upper floors of the castle. Next is Frontierland. This is one of the more themed places in the park. The park is split into many sections, and this is one of them. This was already themed to be like a Halloween, autumn related section of the park. You've got many country style buildings like Cowboy. You've got this beautiful vessel. You've got the Indiana Jones ride. Of course, that's one of the most popular ones. It was a crazy waiting time, and I'm really not that into crazy roller coasters, so I didn't go for that, but you've got it there. This is Molly Brown. You've got, of course, a lot of restaurants. The Lucky Nugget, it's one of them. It was decently priced. I mean, for a Disneyland park, you could have eaten with like 20 euros.
Il y a des menus enfants de ce côté, de ce côté.
I'm a really big fan of anything that's Oriental themed. I love the Aladdin story from Disney. It's one of my favorite stories in the whole world. Of course, when I got to Adventureland, I was in awe. I loved the decoration. It reminded me of my trip to Marrakesh, Morocco. You can actually meet Jafar here. It was such a magical place for me. Everything looked so real. It was like I was in the actual story. It was very emotional, very nice. I went then to the Adventure Isle. This is where one of the most famous rides of the park resides, and I'm talking about the Pirates of the Caribbean. This was a ride that I wanted to try. It was a medium ride. It doesn't have many ups and downs. You get into a boat and then you just enjoy the spectacle. It was about 35 minutes of a wait. It was very enjoyable because everything is very well managed and very well designed, and you don't feel like you're waiting. You feel like you're already into the ride even as you wait in line. So I'm just going to let you enjoy the footage that I got with the actual ride. Is not much because it was very dark. It's a dark ride, but I hope that images that I've captured will get you a little bit of a feel of how it actually was on the ride, because I had a ton of fun. I never would have imagined that I could be laughing so hard and having so much fun on a ride that's basically made for children.
Là, c'est là, on est sur la vraie, gros. Et là, il y a la son. Et les gars, il y a moyen qu'on lui passe une table? On va aller voir quand même.
C'est bon, on va s'avancer, puis on verra bien. Tu crois?
Et on peut couper. C'est le temps.
Sors-le de là!
So then we left Jack behind and doing his thing into the treasure there, into the cave of treasure or whatever that was called. Moving back out, it was then another little gift shop. These ones were actually very tempting for me because I love the Pirates of the Caribbean tale. I wanted to get a shot glass, but then it was just about managing my space and my luggage, so I had to say no, but I will surely be back to Disneyland one day and I'll get a proper 2 or 3 days in the park and actually get to ride everything and buy stuff to get back home, like souvenirs or merchandise. This was one of the more expensive places. As you can see here, prices were a little bit unreasonably high, but you do get a view of the ride as you eat, so that's special. We are now back in the center of the park, and this is where you can actually meet Mickey Mouse. There was a 70-minute wait time to meet Mickey Mouse. I found that a little bit crazy, to be very honest with you. I wouldn't stay in line for 70 minutes to meet Mickey. 30 minutes or something like that would be okay, but 70 minutes is a bit much for me. There's a lot of things to do in the park, and you get to see Mickey Mouse on the parade and basically everywhere else in the park. This is one of the mazes of the park, themed after the Alice in Wonderland story, and now here we are at the Teacups. I wasn't going to Disneyland for rides especially, but I decided to try a few, you know, if I'm there, why not? And the Teacups sounded more of my alley, more than the Indiana Jones or anyways. So this is how the Teacups went by. Fortunately, I didn't fall down when the teacup stopped. I was a little bit dizzy, but it was actually a fun ride. I'm going to be honest with you. This is the carousel, the biggest one in the park. People ride this non-stop. It's a very popular ride. It really does look like a thing from a fairy tale. That is the Space Mountain ride that you can see there, and for me it was time to get some lunch because I was starving by this point. I haven't had much since breakfast, so I got a little bit of a crepe and a hot chocolate. The crepe was fine, it was just good. It was filled with Nutella. The hot cocoa, it was very sugary, and it tasted more like the cup that it came in rather than hot cocoa. But many choices of sweets or diamonds or whatever these are. You won't be starving here at Disneyland. There are a lot of options, many good restaurants. With a little bit of a research, you can get a great experience food-wise. I mentioned at some point in this video that I'm not into roller coasters or big rides, and that is perfectly fine if you're like that, because Disneyland has something for everyone. For example, this train. This is one of the rides of the park. It just takes you around the park, doing the 360 view of the park. You just sit there, relax, the wind is blowing, the locomotive is steaming up some air or some steam, and you get to see the entire park, and it's a very enjoyable experience for all ages. Thank you for watching part 1. This was the Disneyland Park Paris. Next we're going to have a part 2, which is going to be Walt Disney Studios. This park is adjacent to the first one, but a bit more into the work of Walt Disney and his magic and his thinking and everything that he did. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in part 2 of this Disney adventure.